Welcome back to the Motion Gallerium. The movie takes off with a story of the first Judgment Day where, from the depths of the earth, monsters poured out and slaughtered millions and decimated cities. A war began against the creatures and eventually, they were all destroyed. In response, gated communities and strongholds were built in case of another attack. 15 years pass and the survivor have finally began to recover. We are introduced to a woman named Laura, who works at a school, and her friend Milton, who keeps unsuccessfully hitting on her. She refrains from relationships because of her resentment to her boyfriend Dave, whom she fathered a child with, named Tyler. Seismic activities have increased rapidly and an eclipse is looming, two of the signs of the occurrence of the monsters. Security is increased around the borders and on the news, mass extinction of marine life everywhere, similar to what happened 15 years ago. Tyler is staying with his father at the moment, who gets a call from one of his friends informing him of another attack, telling him to take his family to a shelter before the attack. Meanwhile, one of the monsters sneak into the dome. Laura calls Dave and tells him to get Tyler home, to which Dave ensures that Tyler is safer with him there, while at the same moment, Tyler receives a text, secretly grabs his jacket and take off without telling his father. Tyler is with his girlfriend Maddie. He promises her he would never abandon her the way his father abandoned his mother. Suddenly, a huge flock of birds fly above them. People start evacuating the city in panic. Meanwhile, Dave is stuck in traffic on his way to find Tyler. He leaves the car and starts running. Under the dome, one of the workers is attacked by the monsters as he tends to the machines, and the soldiers nearby try to shoot it and fail to harm it as normal bullets cannot harm it. Dave finally finds Tyler with Maddie, and at the same time, Laurel arrives with Milton and they all drive away to safety. There's chaos all over the city as people try to escape the monsters. They are stuck in traffic but finally reach the shelter only to find that it is guarded by the military and only women and children are allowed inside. Laurel takes Tyler and Maddie, but Tyler decides to go with his father, causing Laurel and Madison to run after him, and before they could do anything, the guards announce that the shelter is completely full. Dave suggests they go to a friend of his, Teddy, while Milton suggests they hide in a basement at a local school. Moments later, they find themselves in a traffic jam, and as they get out, they witness as a solar eclipse has begins. Under the dome, the monsters make their way out in multitudes, some crawling and some flying. Dave and Milton come to disagreement that end in a fight. At that moment, Milton is taken by one of the creatures. They get into a car and try to flee, but run out of fuel, so David goes to look for a replacement. He finds one and gets inside only to realize there's an old man in the back seat. They both fearfully witness a skinless bull passing right by them and proceeds to chew on a body, lying down. Dave quietly reverses the car to Laura and the kids, and as they try to switch cars, the bull notices them. Before it could hurt them, the old man gets out and quickly throws salt at it, buying them enough time to switch cars, at the expense of his life, and Dave drives out of there with his family. The monsters fly into the city as Dave drives and finally arrives at Ted's hideout. They knock at the closed doors while Ted observes them with a gun pointed at his neck. Monsters run on the mountain and Dave grabs a wheel spanner ready to protect everyone, and finally, the door opens and they run inside. Inside the bunker, they greet each other, and at a corner, a military man quietly eats and Ted introduces him as an acquaintance, Gareth Johnson. They watch as the monsters try to break in and Maddie asks if the monsters can see through the wall, and Gareth laughs at her, and tells her they react to light, heat, but they might also see our souls. They are the offspring of the devil, which means God too. Laura asks if Gareth is a religious man and Gareth replies, I am today. He recounts the first day they attacked, where he hid under a pond of salty mud and could hear as 150 were being slaughtered. As Gareth tells the story, Ted signals Dave to take the knife, to which he does, and at the same time, a creature crawls in one of the windows. Gareth says he'll be on duty first, and as he walks away, Ted invites them to stay and glances at Dave, and immediately then, Dave pulls out a gun, forcing Dave to put down the knife. He then tells them that he survived the first doomsday, so he intends to survive this one too. Tyler jumps onto Gareth and tries to take the gun from him, but Gareth easily throws him down. Dave tries to calm the Gareth, and at this moment, a creature latches itself onto Stella's neck and Ted quickly takes it off and pours salt on it. Dave grabs a gun from Garrett G and shoots it. They then tie Gareth up and try to stop Stella's bleeding. Dave looks at the monitors and sees a huge bull coming for the gates. He realizes they must leave the bunker quickly as the bull tries to kick down the doors. Ted is reluctant to go out, saying his wife won't survive outside, but Stella asks him to go with everyone using an underground passage that leads to the mountains. Gareth persuades them to take him too, claiming he has a car with a full tank and he can take anyone to the gate. They do not believe him, but he insists that he was just trying to survive and now it's beneficial for him to help them. They decide to leave and Dave tells him if Gareth takes them there, he'll forget about everything. They arm themselves using Dave's arsenal of weapons while the bull breaks the door outside. They manage to run into the tunnel and go to the car while Stella becomes increasingly ill. Dave and Laura start to argue when Tyler sees a dead monster on the roadside. Maddie approaches it and at that moment, one of the monster's tentacles wrap itself on her leg and pulls her away. Maddie screams loudly while Tyler and Dave finally rescue her, where Gareth offers his help and Dave finally removes his ropes. They go to the top of the mountain and see a devastating sight. They get into the car but it won't start. Monsters suddenly appear from the mountain and rush towards them. Stella looks at the crowd of monsters and at the gun on her husband's hands. She quickly takes the gun and gets out of the car while Ted begs her to hand over the gun, but Stella turns away and goes to face the monsters as she understands that she's doomed. Ted cries out and Dave throws him into the car and drive away at the last minute. A multitude of monsters rush towards them and on the way, they pick up a radio signal reporting that almost all the shelters have been destroyed by the monsters. They come to the gate, it's empty but the doors are open. Gareth says the hideout is in the basement and are heading there, but the power must be restored first. Gareth and Dave decide to restore the power while the other look for the first aid post. Dave restores electricity and Gareth says that the gate was prepared for a second invasion. Plenty of salt was pumped into them but the well was too deep. As they head to the others, they hear a roar of monsters and see a bloody corpse. There are 2 hours left until the end of the eclipse and Gareth suggests they hide in a chemical warehouse where the doors are impenetrable, and suddenly a monster attacks Gareth and together with Dave, they manage to deal with it, but the rest of the monsters are alerted by the noise. Gareth quickly runs through a door and closes it behind him. He gives himself some kind of injection and his veins are swollen in black. Dave returns to his family and asks Tyler to keep an eye on his mother while he's away. He wants to level the plainfield and funnel the salt water through the tank pipes to keep the monsters out. Laura kisses Dave and tells him to be careful and makes his way through the ventilation and witness a monster devour a prey. Dave needs to turn off the taps near that chewing monster and manage to open the faucet and water is collected into the containers. Dave climbs back but one of the monsters rush after him. Dave fights back by throwing salt at the monster and the monster crumbles to death. Meanwhile, the others had already been hunted down and surrounded by the creatures. Tyler shoots back and then Dave's voice is heard through a loudspeaker. They are completely surrounded by the monsters and Ted tells Tyler, "Protect the family," and goes to the monster with an axe. Several monsters attack him and Tyler shoots back while the injured Ted keeps fighting them. Tyler runs out of ammo and turns on the fire alarm, to which salt water comes out from all sides and all the monsters inside fall and die. Their day has exacted a heavy toll as it slowly ends along with the apocalypse and all monsters return through the gate back to wherever they came from. The survivors run to Gareth, who is standing there with a gun, and shoots Tyler, telling him it's not their world anymore and that they won't survive anymore, and aims again as Laura tries to shield her son while Dave attacks Gareth from behind and save Tyler. Then suddenly, a huge monster appears from below and devours Gareth. They run into a room and quickly prepare a weapon made out of salt and throw it at the monster as it broke in, killing it instantly. They finally go outside and witness the world ruined by monsters, hoping for a better tomorrow. Please hit that subscribe button for more cool recaps.